So I'm here with Massimo Bruni, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Massimo Bruni? Bruni. He's a scriptwriter that's in competition at a festival in Berlin called The Sun in the Soul. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to just meet you. Basically, Massimo, the way it works, forget about the camera, just look at my ugly face. Okay. So tell me about, where do you come from? What's a bit of your background?
Well, my background is that I come from Italy, from Florence.
Lovely.
And I studied economics, and I was working in exterior marketing for my family business. But always I had this wish of writing, and I did something also in the past. I wrote a comedy when I was 19 and blah, blah, blah. But I had really no time to dedicate myself enough to...
Life got in the way.
Yeah. But at a certain time, by things that happen in life, I had the opportunity to change it, so I started writing my first novel in Italy, which was published by a Mondadori group, which was a big surprise for me, and it had a certain success. Then I wrote a second one. It takes place in the United States, between Los Angeles and New York. And then I moved to Spain. I live actually in Madrid, and there I wrote and I published other 3 novels. The first one is a short comedy, which now is a screenplay which the son of Carlos Saura took recently to make a movie out of it.
Wow.
Okay. And then a second one, and then the last one was The Sun in the Soul.
Which is your book, your actual book.
Which is the actual book.
Yeah.
From which the screenplay, the script come from. So script is an adaptation of this book.
How difficult is it to convert a book, your own book, admittedly, into a script? Because it's a big difference, isn't it?
It's a big difference. For being honest, I have, in this case, I've been helped by a professional screenwriter. I mean, the phrases, the plot, everything was mine, but it teach me how to write a script for the movie system, for cinema.
Was it more enjoyable than writing the book?
It's a different work. It's a different work. I love to write books, novels. It's much a solitary work, and you can express a lot of things that are not possible to express in a script. But the script gives movement to the story all, and so while I was writing the novel, I was visualizing the scenes, and I really write in a way that is not so difficult to transform this into a script, because I have a lot of dialogues and action. I enjoyed both.
Yeah.
The second part was maybe more enjoyable.
And can you tell us what the story is about?
The story is about a bunch of old people meeting in a retirement home. Start from 2 principal characters, the protagonists. Yeah. Samuel and Julia, which they know each other, and for very different reasons. One is forced, let's say, from the family for different reasons to move to a retirement house. And the other one, she decided herself to do that, not to create problems to her daughter, who knows nothing about a certain illness in the eyes that she has. And so, let's say, casually, same day, those two characters, Samuel and Julia, they meet in the retirement house. They enter, and there is when they meet all the other characters, very different one from another, and it takes place the story with a lot of surprises actually.
And there's always a reason all stories are written. Is there an inspiration from this story?
Actually, before doing this, I was thinking to write a story about young teenagers, let's say homeless, that were abandoned by the family.
Yeah.
And then I wrote it.
Right.
Which now it's a book. And but suddenly, just visiting a retirement home where the grandmother of a friend of mine was, I found it interesting, and it's a word that I didn't know, and so I got to know also her friends, and somehow the things that were happening, and putting attention on the feeling of the sentiments of those people, in the good and the bad, and it captured me. I had to write.
Is it so it affected you, I guess?
It affected me, and I had to write this. I'm happy that I did enter into this world and kind of story, because something like rescue somehow, no? This thing of the third age, old people that are like somehow invisible
yes.
to the society.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Actually, it's we don't think so much about it, but it's a big problem, especially in the Occidental world. Is more than 20% of people over 65 are people of third age, and we treat them well, but not so much.
It's the same in the.
It's different. This society is a little bit more cruel about the.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's the same in the UK. It's the same in the UK.
Well, all Occidental world is a bit like this. In Far Eastern countries, different because
they look after them, don't they? Treat them with respect.
They treat old people with a lot of respect, and when an old man or woman died, they say that it's like a library which burns. No? So I like this visual aspect of that thing. And it's a story with a strong dichotomy between comic and tragic. It's many times hilarious, sometimes dramatic. Same life of the main characters, very different one to another.
Do you wish that you had begun your new career earlier in your life?
Earlier?
Well, you became a writer, if you forgive me for saying this, a little bit later in life.
Yes.
But do you wish you had started it at an earlier point, or was the time right?
This is difficult to answer, but as I told you, I was doing things, but I couldn't fully be in what I really like, what was in my heart. I think it's okay. I think that sometimes in life things happens when they have to. Not something like predestinated, but I mean it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad that I started maybe a little late, but with faith and strength.
Okay, and that's a wonderful way to put it. Is it possible to explain the joy might be the wrong word, the pleasure you have in writing? Is it possible to put that into words? Does that make sense?
It makes sense, of course. The pleasure stays in different parts. First of all, I really am one of them, of the character that I write. A little child, like the nephew of
I know what you mean.
Of the protagonist. a man, a woman. And so it gives you the possibility to somehow, even if you, as a writer, are omniscient, you know everything, but in the meantime, the character takes strength, takes place. So you have to die with them, but also let them go in the writing and inside yourself. So it's a discovery and it's a pleasure, because it's every new page, every phrase, everything you put in, sometimes it's not such an easy work if you want to do it well. Otherwise, you just tell a story, but you're not a writer.
Well, do you have, in England, we call them black dog days. Do you have days where you just don't want to write? Do you have to, or do you tend to write most days?
I think that is when you write that you can have an inspiration.
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
Or a spot, a light. But it's really when you are in your own room writing that if you have got this first inspiration, you have to work like a creative artisan, let's say, of the word, of telling a story.
And how did you teach yourself to become a writer, or how were you? Because it's very difficult to write. I mean, I'm not very good at writing. Maybe teaching is the wrong word, but how did you adjust your life to become a writer? What did you do to pursue this dream? Did you go to writing classes? Did you take lessons? How did all this happen?
I didn't, but I've been a great reader. Reading somehow is helps you. If you have the tendency of following a certain type of creativity of art, can be writing, can be composing music or whatever like this. And writing was what most captured me. And I think I have to be thankful also to the poetry that I read a lot of poetry.
Okay.
Yes, because it's a different way of perceiving things, and it gives you the possibility to be somehow more original in a plot, in writing itself. No, I did not make any special course, but maybe I've been lucky. But I published five books.
That's very
good.
good.
I didn't start in an early age, so
that's very good.
That's enough. And now I'm looking for the movie system to possibly make film out of it. Also because I've seen people, for example, in this script, laughing and crying while they were reading it. I remember somebody that I knew was reading and crying, and she said, "Oh, sorry, Massimo." And I told her, "Look, you don't know the pleasure that I have to see you crying, not because I'm sadistic and I want you to cry, but because it's evident that this has transmitted to you quite a strong emotion." And it's not, okay, it's a story of old people, okay, but it's not, it will not be a film for old people, because they interact many different characters, young, middle age, and it's let's say an international story, because sentiments, feeling, problems, especially of that part of the life, are common all over the world, if we are so lucky to reach that stage.
Yeah, and what's very interesting is, at no point so far, you said how much you love reading and writing. and you obviously this is a script, but you haven't mentioned about films that you've seen that you, because I'm assuming that you're a film watcher.
Well, yes.
But it's interesting you haven't mentioned that yet.
No,
and there's a reason that I've asked this question.
You didn't ask me.
No, don't.
But no, I think actually either in literature, I mean novels, books, whatever, and movie, this theme has been not very much treated or not well treated somehow, you know. So movies, for example, a part of Cocoon, that is the most recent one, comes from your country, who was best hotel Marigold, I think.
Yeah. So, which I think, well, that kind of leads me on to, because they're the films that are going on in my head, and I'm hear you talking about.
But there are not many, and I think minus this.
Driving Miss Daisy is another one that sort of comes to mind a little bit.
Yeah, it's something that maybe more interesting because normally we're looking for young people's stories, and but actually I think that there's a little bit of a lack either in literature that in the films regarding this sunset of the life, and it's amusing actually. It's not a sad story. It's a script. It's as I told you. It's
and is there a film that you've seen that would you say is the perfect script? Not necessarily the perfect film, but that you've seen and you think that script is perfection, or is as close to perfection that can be?
There are many.
Or maybe not one, maybe two or three.
Well, there are many, but one that I particularly like is it's an old movie from directed by Sergio Leone.
Which one?
I don't know the title in English. I mean,
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Once Upon a Time in America. Right?
In America, yeah, that's Robert De Niro, isn't it?
Yes, Robert De Niro.
Brilliant film.
And many others. That would last 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, that I would define perfect is something, but almost really. That's I love.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big Sergio Leone fan. Once Upon a Time in the West is one of my favourite. It's a really great film. So, Massimo, what's next after this? What's happening now after this?
After this?
Yeah. Do you have other projects?
Yes, the story of there's a parallel story of those two young kids in
like a sequel, not a sequel, but something connected.
In Argentina, and two around 40 aged man here in can be Madrid, as in London or whatever, and it's coming out good actually, and well, I cannot tell you the plot because it's large and
no, don't give anything away.
But this is my next step. The title will be Pearls of Rain.
Pearls of Rain.
Pearls like pearls.
Pearls of Rain.
Pearls
of Rain.
Sorry, my English.
No, you've been very good. Well, Massimo, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.